When we're faced with a difficult situation, we often instinctively ask ourselves why this is happening to us. Sometimes we find the answer, but it is also possible that there is no answer, and we must learn to change the question. We live in a generation with easy access to a wealth of information. With artificial intelligence, we can even find recipes simply by taking a picture of the inside of our fridge. If we have a question, no matter the subject, we will find an answer on the internet, whether it's valid or not. Perhaps this is why we have a little difficulty coping with the lack of the answer to the question, why? Even in the Christian world, we always think we can find a reason for our suffering. Sometimes our brothers or sisters in Christ will say that our situation was willed by God to teach us something. They often use Romans 8:28 to comfort us. And we know that all things work together for those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. At other times, they will tell us that what is happening to us is the devil's fault, or that it is perhaps our fault, that we have not prayed enough, fast, given, confessed the right thing, etc. This search for an explanation is not new. Even in the New Testament, religious people said that illness were the result of sin. And his disciple asked him, saying, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of God should be revealed in him. John 9:2 and 3. So yes, sometimes what happens to us is partly our fault, but not always. God gave plants the ability to grow. But why does this tomato plant have 3 branches and this one has 4? There isn't always an answer. It just happens. In the Bible, they use the word chance to describe circumstances where there was no one in charge. So she arrived, and she gleaned in the field behind the harvesters. By chance, it happened to be the portion of the field that belonged to Boaz, who was from the family of Elimelech. Ruth 2:3. Perhaps the word chance here is a misnomer because, of course, we cannot associate God with chance or gambling. Perhaps it would have been better translated as it just happened or for no reason. We also see this expression in Luke 10:31. Now, by chance, a certain priest came down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. The translation could have read, a priest was going that same road for no particular reason, or it just so happened that he was passing by. Sometimes there is no explanation, and that's why we need faith. When we persist in seeking the answer to our why question, we fail to move on the next chapter of our lives. Sometimes there is no answer to this question. It just happened that way. So we have to move on to the next question. Okay, and now, what do we do with it? Just as Jesus did in John 9:2 and 3. Instead of asking to answer the why, Jesus looked on how this situation can glorify God. Instead of asking questions like, why was my husband unfaithful? Or why did my girlfriend leave me? Or why am I still single? Perhaps it's time to ask yourself, what should I do to meet someone? And in the meantime, what should I do with my singleness? Or how can my singleness glorify the Lord? Because there isn't always an explanation for our trials. But in all circumstances, God can glorify Himself and make us victorious.